I'm Mark Hall Patton. I'm the administrator of the Clark County Museum System, and I want to welcome you to the Clark County Museum. Now, when you come out to the museum, I've got a 30-acre site here, but one of the first things you see is a very large switcher engine, 4442. This engine has a very interesting history, and it's here for you to see, so let's take a closer look at it. The 4442, this particular engine, is a switcher engine. That's a type of engine that's used in a rail yard for moving railroad cars around and building up trains. This particular one was built in 1918 by the U.S. Railroad Administration. In World War I, the Railroad Administration was the United States governmental agency that took over the railroads in the United States and the production of railroad rolling stock. Now, none of the engines or cars they built came online during the war. This one actually came online in 1919, but this was the smallest version of a switcher engine that was built by the US RA. It is a 060. Now, the way that you number a railroad engine, it's the small wheels in the front, the large wheels in the center, and the small wheels under the cab. You notice there are no small wheels under the cab or in the front. That was because they wanted all the weight to be sitting on these wheels. Mark Hall Patton. I want to welcome you to the Clark County Museum. Today we're going to look at the Union Pacific Depot here on the property. This was the first building we moved out here, and it was moved here in 1974 and was opened to the public in 1979, soon after the county took over the museum. So let's take a look inside. The Union Pacific Depot was actually built in 1931 as part of the Boulder Dam project. The Union Pacific was the main supplier of materials and cement and everything that was needed to build Hoover Dam. They had to have a line that branched off of the main line. It branched off at Bracken, one of the sidings on the main Union Pacific line, and went all the way down to Boulder City. But in Boulder City, they needed a depot. So on February 1st, 1931, this building opened. We moved it out here in 1974 and restored it so that when you come out here, you can actually see what the depot looked like. As you look around, you can see the station master's desk here. You can see where people came in to get their tickets. Actually, the building itself was originally built only for freight, but later this portion was added in order to have a place for passengers to come through. Because in the first few years, there was regular passenger travel between Las Vegas and Boulder City. That ended early on, but freight was used through this building until quite a bit later. As you look around in this forward portion of the building, you can see everything from an original Pullman uniform, a Pullman porter's uniform, to a shoe shine stand over here behind the desk, and some of the materials that were used on the railroad and by the railroad, including original railroad china and glassware. There's a lot more to the building though than just the office area here. As you come into the building, you'll see actually the freight area. And the freight area was the main part of this building. This was where most of the goods and most of the supplies that went into Hoover Dam went through. You had to come out here, it would be offloaded at this building and loaded onto the next railroad to be taken down to the dam site. And Henry and O.C. end up living there. They didn't live there for long. We think 6, 8 months, something like that. And then they built their own house and moved into a bigger place. And you'll understand what I say when you see the house a little bit later. It's really not much more than a little tiny building, 2 rooms. They enclosed the porch, made it a 3-room building. But